station. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Coby Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Man, there's no better way to do this. There's no better way to start this. I'm sure you've seen the news, and if not, I'm here to break it to you. The MRI for Jimmy Butler is in. And good people, this is not the way I wanted to start this show. This is not the way I want to start this Thursday following the Heat's loss in the play-in game last night to the Sixers. But it's time for a Baptist Health Orthopedic Care injury report.
My leg! My leg! I am not angry. I am in pain. My leg!
Time now for an injury report.
My head and torso! Wow, that's crazy. They hit me everywhere except my legs!
Presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
My leg!
I love the intro, by the way, but I hate the news. This tweet, and we could pop it up live on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe as well at Theo Speaking on YouTube. If you're streaming live, you'll see the tweet here from Sham Sharania. Heat confirmed Jimmy Butler has an MCL sprain and is out. A right MCL sprain that Jimmy Butler suffered at the end of the first quarter in the play-in game in Philly. Kelly Oubre, pretty boy Oubre. Of all people, why'd it have to be Kelly? Kelly Oubre landing on Jimmy Butler, crushing his leg on the way down. Jimmy was never right after that. He never really fully recovered, but he was able to stay in the game and play it through, but it didn't matter. He was 3 for 14 following that. The Miami Heat could not muster enough offense in the half court to compensate for Jimmy Butler's lack of ability to be able to move, to be able to burst off of that right leg. And what it ends in is the Heat falling to the Sixers 105-104. That's the Baptist Health Orthopedic Care injury report. Now, before I tell you more about Baptist Health, I want you to listen to Jimmy Butler following the game. Jimmy, who, I mean, of all people that we've seen wear a Heat jersey over the past 20 years, maybe just Udonis Haslem and Dwayne Wade embody Heat culture and the grittiness and the toughness it takes to be able to put on that uniform and really present outwardly what Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra pump into those guys in the locker room, in those team facilities. Jimmy Butler, one of the toughest guys in the league, and I think it's highlighted by the way that he was able to play the rest of that game, still effective on defense, still active and a threat, and made the Sixers still pay attention to him enough on offense, even though he was standing in the corner. Jimmy playing through that MCL injury, I mean, that takes a lot of guts. Here is Jimmy, though, after the game, talking about specifically what it felt like out there and how limited he was on the court.
I mean, I fell and he landed and my knee just didn't do well, I guess. I don't know, but it's not a good feeling, I can tell you that.
Was there a thought of not finishing the game?
Honestly, I thought the adrenaline would kick back in and I would be able to move, and it just wasn't the case. I wasn't able to do anything on either side of the ball, and I think I heard us more than I helped us, actually.
And that could be argued. Again, the Miami Heat half-court offense, even with a healthy Jimmy Butler this year, even in win-or-go-home style games or must-win games in the regular season, and then you saw it last night, even with a healthy Jimmy Butler, the half-court offense has been a shell of what you would expect it to be with a guy like Eric Spoelstra at the helm. But specifically with a hobbled Jimmy against that Sixers lineup with so much size, with Embiid out there who also was a bit hurt, it really rendered them no chance. It's a surprise that the Heat even came within a point of the Sixers last night, especially when you have guys like Nick Batum. Nick Batum crushing the Miami Heat. So there it is, your Baptist Health Orthopedic Care injury report. And again, that's brought to you by Baptist Health. Do you have foot or ankle pain? Do you? I want to make sure I get this right here. Here, I don't have my Baptist Health read. That's what it is. That's what it is, C-Katt. What a fumble. What a big fumble 5 minutes into the show. Can we run that over to me so I can tell people about Baptist Health Orthopedic Care? That was a bit embarrassing.
Well, Jimmy tore you up.
Yeah,
like,
Jimmy
tore. We don't know if it's torn, but it's sprained for Jimmy Butler, and he tore that. Jimmy hurting his MCL tore your heart apart.
That's how much it's affecting Heat Nation. I'm feeling the remnants of that injury and the lack of confidence I have in the Miami Heat and their ability to not just get through tomorrow night against the Bulls, because I don't know if that's going to happen, and maybe it's better for the Heat if they don't. Also, your prize for beating the Bulls tomorrow night in a winner-go-home game would be a date with the 1-seed Celtics, who are clearly head and shoulders above everybody else in the East, clearly head and shoulders above everybody else when it comes to orthopedic care. Well, of course, that's Baptist Health. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. That was it, though. That was it, C-Katt. As torn up as I am about it, Jimmy Butler being out for the Miami Heat pretty much screams doom for the rest of this season. That's about as much of a call it quits as you can have, except this is a team that we know is not going to roll over tomorrow night at Kaseya Center with a season on the line. If we know anything about an Eric Spoelstra-led team, and even though Jimmy Butler won't be on the court, a Bam Adebayo-led team and a Tyler Hero, hopefully reinvigorated from that very poor performance we saw last night, they're going to fight against the Bulls. They're not going to roll over against the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. But here, actually, I want you to listen to Jimmy Butler, not his post-game reaction, but the actual moment in the first quarter when he went down, when Kelly Oubre landed on that leg. Take a listen to this, and the severity, you could hear it in the call on NBA on ESPN. Jimmy Butler going down, and really the ability for the Heat to be able to bounce back and win a game that could have scored them a date with the 7-seed or the 2-seed Knicks, a series that I believe the Heat could have won, all went by the wayside on this play right here.
Butler down the other run, stuck behind the defense. The head fake, the bank shot won't go, but a foul. And Jimmy Butler's grabbing his right knee.
There it is.
Butler in a lot of pain after the fake took the contact, went down.
You can hear it, and as a Heat fan, and even as an NBA or basketball fan at a whole, at large, I feel like there's one word that can easily sum that up, and it just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks. Postseason injuries in general, but specifically ones to star players on teams that rely so heavily on their talent, it just unequivocally sucks. And that, for Miami Heat fans and Heat Nation, is the general feeling all the way around. But what I also learned about what sucks in sports today is that there's levels to this. There's a lot of levels to this, and I learned that through Major League Baseball, because the easier way to actually sum up the feeling of what the Miami Heat fans and that team in that locker room should be feeling right now, well, the Tampa Bay Rays closer, Pete Fairbanks, came in for the Rays with the team up a score, 4-3. He gets out there on the mound to close out the game. I'll save you the semantics. He blew the save. He blew the save. The Rays lost. His ERA was like 9 in the inning he came in. It was terrible, abysmal, so much so that he gave us some post-game gold. Here's Pete Fairbanks describing his performance on the mound, but also the feeling that Heat Nation has following Jimmy Butler's injury.
Was it just a matter of command, location, selection, anything specific?
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck.
An all-encompassing type of suck. It generally sucks when you lose your star player, but especially when that's Jimmy Butler and you're the Miami Heat and everything you do on both sides of the ball hinges on Jimmy Butler being playoff Jimmy, being spectacular, putting the team on his back. It feels like an all-encompassing type of suck. And thank you to Pete Fairbanks for giving me that. And that's exactly how I feel on the heels of what was a very disappointing night for Heat fans all across the board. Losing the play-in game to the Sixers. Now you got to gear up on Friday night without Jimmy Butler. He's been ruled out for the Friday night play-in game against the Chicago Bulls. And after Coby White dropped that 42-piece on the Hawks, and he's looking like the second coming of MJ, like I am not confident in the Heat's ability to do that. What in sports to you generally sucks? Or, as Pete Fairbanks put it, all-encompassing type of suck. What in sports to you generally sucks? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Can we hear Pete Fairbanks again? Just the end part of it. Just the all-encompassing type of suck.
I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck.
That's about as bad as it can get, C-Katt. It doesn't get worse than all-encompassing type of suck.
Yeah, you try to find the glass half full any which way, maybe a glimmer of hope, and how Pete Fairbanks felt last night with how he had no command, no control, no velocity, how this injury to Jimmy Butler, there's no glass half full. It's sprained MCL.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to see him for several weeks.
Well, I mean, given that Jimmy Butler's going to be out tomorrow, and if the Heat lose against the Bulls, the season's over. Yeah. I think if you want to watch Jimmy Butler play basketball again, either it's going to be Drew League this summer, or you got to wait until the season tips back off next year, because it's not looking beautiful for the Miami Heat right now, and it is an all-encompassing type of suck. What in sports generally sucks? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. And again, if you're a Heat fan right now, it does feel like this is a huge miss because of the what-ifs. The what-if that this Miami Heat team could have been. They actually had it shaped up for them to have this, almost a repeat performance of what they had last year. If they were able to get over the hump, if Nick Batum hits one less three-pointer, if Bam Adebayo shows up a little bit more on the offensive end, hell, if Tyler Hero on his 27 field goal attempts scores more than 25 points, and what the hell was that in the corner, by the way, at the end of the game? Down by 4 seconds, ticking off the clock. It's like 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Tyler Hero's in the corner with the ball in his hands. He's tying his shoes before he puts the three-pointer up. Thank God he made it. He couldn't hit the broadside of the barn last night, but what the hell was that? He literally let the game draw out, almost as if he just was trying to cover instead of win the game. It was everything about last night, all-encompassing type of suck.
There's bigger games and bigger stages than, of course, the play-in. But at least you can tell yourself when a team falls short in the conference finals, in the finals, that we're good enough and we got here. At this spot here, falling short, not only because of performance, but also because of injury unluckiness, I think it all-encompassing type of suck.
And honestly, hopefully this puts some fire under the ass of the front office for the Miami Heat, because the way that Jimmy has carried this team and the way that Eric Spoelstra has squoze all of the toothpaste out of the jar right there for this team every single year, it's allowed them in the offseason to sit back and be comfortable. It's allowed them to improve the team on the margin instead of taking a big swing and actually giving up the assets it would take to bring in a guy like Dame Lillard, who was begging to be in Miami a couple years back, bringing in a guy like James Harden, who I know it hasn't really panned out anywhere else, but if there's one place James Harden should be sufficient at, is hopefully within Heat culture. Now, I know that bringing James Harden to South Florida might not be the best idea for a guy that got his jersey retired at strip clubs in Houston.
Yeah.
I think if there's one or two places in America that rivals the strip clubs in my hometown of Houston, Texas, Miami's up there. Miami and Atlanta.
I don't want to sound corny, but I'm going to use this phrase, and forgive me for using this phrase, but I think James Harden would get active in the great region of South Florida. Is that fair to say?
That was great. Why were you afraid to use the active phrase?
I don't know. It didn't feel good coming off the tongue. Yeah, if I said it like it wasn't unusual for me, maybe I could have gotten away with it, but I had to be transparent with you.
You're a cool cat, C-Katt. You can get away with active.
You can get active. James Harden's going to get active in South Florida.
He's getting active.
No, that didn't feel right. No, I'm sorry. I had to preface it.
Well, what do you say when you're about to have a great weekend on the town? You got motion, you're getting active, you're getting busy. What do you say? What would normally be C-Katt's vernacular there?
Me and the boys, we're going to paint the town red.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Said it before. Doja Cat, is that whose song it is? I coined that phrase way before her. Like, we're going to get busy. How about that?
We get busy. I like that. Okay. So, and that probably the paint the town red. I think that will fall into that category of all-encompassing suck. If one of my friends hit me up like, yo, let's go paint the town red, I might leave him on red. Yikes. We're theoretically speaking here. That's C-Katt. I'm Theo Dorsey. What to you, though, is all-encompassing suck in sports or what just generally sucks. We got that from the Tampa Bay Rays reliever Pete Fairbanks, and to me, it's the Miami Heat, the what if that could have been. I think they would have soared past the New York Knicks in that 2-7 matchup. I know that everybody's high on Jalen Brunson right now. I know that the Knicks that Knicks fever is burning hot right now out there at Madison Square Garden. Let's not forget, this Knicks team that's a 50-win squad, that's the 2 seed in the East, the Heat were only 4 games back of that Knicks squad. The Heat can be and would be in a playoff series more than competitive against the Knicks, and they just beat them last year in the playoffs, and they don't have Julius Randle. I was confident that if the Heat could have pulled it out last night, and again, this is before we realized that Jimmy Butler was actually playing on a sprained MCL, not just like a bit of a tweaked knee, but a sprained MCL. I was more than confident that the road was paved for the Heat to be able to get through the Sixers, which, again, they were up by 12 in the second quarter, up by double digits at halftime, and that lead just evaporated away in the third quarter, and it never really felt like the Heat actually had a standing chance to they never recovered from that blow that the Sixers had that happened after the whole free chicken movement. I hated that. But for the Miami Heat, they had a chance there. The Knicks are beatable. Next up, you get the Bucks or the Pacers. I would assume the Pacers get past the Bucks because no Giannis. The Pacers in the series against Eric Spoelstra and the Heat, you got to feel confident in the Heat. They could have been shaping up to be in their 4th Eastern Conference Finals in 5 years against those Celtics. But what we're going to have now is a bunch of what-ifs and a Miami Heat team that's got to trot out there against the Chicago Bulls and I'm guessing give a good effort. If I were to assume what's going to happen tomorrow night, the Heat probably luck their way into a win somehow and end up in a series with the Celtics, which I would absolutely hate because the last thing I need to see in this string of rivalry that we have between the Heat and Celtics, which has been ferocious over the past 4 or 5 years, the last thing I need to see is another Celtics series victory. And for them to be pounding their chests as if they beat the Heat as an 8 seed without Jimmy Butler, like I already can. Celtics fans are going to be insufferable. It would suck. That would suck. That will be what sucks even more than losing Jimmy Butler is watching the Celtics be able to beat the Heat in a 7-game series because we don't have number 22. What in sports to you sucks, though? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. And for you, C-Katt, I'm curious. What in sports generally sucks or has that all-encompassing suck?
You know, I have a pretty bad worldview. So a lot of things suck to me, whether it's in sports, out of sports, in my life, in somebody else's life. I use that word sucks way more often than I probably should, but this week has been nuts, man.
Ugh.
In the past week, I saw Travis Kelce graduate from the University of Cincinnati. He's 34 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
34-year-old man at the tail end of his career. Shotguns a beer on stage after getting his diploma. 34 years old. Pretending like he's one of the 21, 22-year-old kids who's graduated from college. Listen, dude, you don't need all the attention all the time. The eyes will be there no matter what. You don't got to show out for the spotlight. Take your diploma, get off the stage. Did it have to be the Travis Kelce show? Did it have to be New Heights, but in a visual form, live and in person at the University of Cincinnati? Travis Kelce shotgunning a beer when he graduated from the University of Cincinnati at the age of 34. That absolutely sucked.
Yeah, that was.
I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It all-encompassing. There was not one aspect of that where I chuckled. I thought, classic Travis. No, I hated everything about it.
Well, you don't have to worry about all-encompassing suck if you're a gold member like me with EDS air conditioning and plumbing. EDS is yes. You've heard it on this station for years now. EDS is yes. And for me, I have the sanctity, I have the comfortability of knowing that twice a year as a gold member, 2 times a year, I get serviced on it. I don't wait until my AC goes down. I don't wait until I realize, oh no, it's the middle of May and my AC is broken and that thermostat that started at 72 this morning is just spiking up and crawling up into the 80s, into the 90s. You don't have to wait until it gets bad. There's preventative measures you can do. And with EDS air conditioning and plumbing, if you are a gold member like me, well then you can be comfortable knowing that your AC system is going to suit you right. Now, again, Ed Sasso, who owns EDS, who started this thing, we were kicking it at that Heat game last week at Kaseya Center, and we saw just how bad that half-court offense can be, just how muddied up it can be, and how tough it was for the Heat to find buckets. That proved out last night as well. That foresight that we saw back then proved out last night as well. And if the Heat would have took some preventative measures ahead of time, maybe, I don't even know what they could have did. Rushed Terry Rozier back, Duncan Robinson. I mean, I know he was healthy or active, but he didn't play. Something the Heat could have done in ahead of time, then maybe there will be a different story. Maybe we're talking about Jimmy's out, but the Heat are in the playoffs. But no, we aren't. And with EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, it's not a perfect analogy, but I can tell you this much. If you have a problem, they know how to solve it because they're a trained comfort specialist, and it's hard to stop a train. EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing, edsairconditioning.com, or call 561-316-8799. Make sure that you don't find yourself stuck out there with a big problem and you don't have a solution. EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is your solution. EDS is yes. C-Katt, that does suck for you. That does suck for you to have to watch a three-time Super Bowl champion and Travis Kelce shotgun a beer at his college graduation. The only reason why I'm okay with it is because, again, the 3 trophies he provided my favorite franchise. It's a good thing when you can deal with the bad when it comes with some good. The Heat loss and the Jimmy Butler injury is going to turn into my team likely being in the draft lottery. That sucks.
So how much winning buys you acting like a lunatic in public, right? Like, so like 3 Super Bowls, that bought Travis Kelce a shotgun on stage at his college graduation.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce maybe go 95 mile per hour down 995, and when he gets a ticket for speeding, like, it's okay, Travis. You gave us the W.
Yeah, now you know what? In some towns that will buy you some time, but as we learned, especially with Rashee Rice and the Chiefs right now, he still is dealing with some legal problems from that. Maybe we'll tackle that, but more specifically, we're a week out from the NFL draft right now. Everybody's talking about what Elliott Wolf and the New England Patriots are going to be trying to cook up at the top of the draft because he made himself available. I'm curious what you're most interested in for this NFL draft. We're a week out, 7 days away. Your favorite team likely has a first-round pick. You tell us here on Theoretically Speaking who you're rocking with, what you're most interested in for this NFL draft. For me as a Chiefs fan, I'm more so focused on what's happening at the top of the draft. But we'll get to that and more when we come back. We are Theoretically Speaking here on ESPN 106.3.